So it's her birthday. My birthday's right before her birthday, a couple months, about to come up here in April 21st. And she gives me the most amazing birthday ever that any woman's ever given
Tell him
me.
what I did.
So she surprises me, whole bunch of things, walk in her house, there's balloons and gifts, but that wasn't what was special. Is she took me up to like driving up to LA area. I'm like, what are we doing? She never told me where we're going. And she took me to the Porsche driving experience. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yes,
It's so amazing.
It's
So, dude,
so cool.
we had only been dating for
Like 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months. And she like takes me to this Porsche drive. It was just the most amazing thing. Well, her birthday's a few months later. I'm like, I got to top this. So I planned 3 days of events for her and just went all out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in love with her.
Beautiful.
And the final thing, and we share this now, we didn't for a long time because we didn't really want to share this with people. But I was getting ready for her birthday, and the last thing was this dinner in Little Italy. And we had gone, what was it? What's the gliding called? Hang gliding?
Oh yeah, hang gliding.
We did
or
hang
paragliding.
gliding. We had baby
goats.
baby
Goat
goat yoga.
yoga.
We had
Really?
massages.
Wow.
We
It's
drove
awesome.
up the one in convertibles. Like we just had this crazy epic
Surfing,
surfing, daybreak surfing. Like, it was epic, bro. Like I planned it to the 9. But I was getting ready for her birthday, and God spoke to me the night before, and He told me, I want you to write a $10,000 check to your future wife. And I'm like, first of all, I don't even think I'd ever wrote a $10,000 check to anyone, bro. Like I've been in mastermind stuff, but like to an employee or something, like in work, you know? And I'm like, what? And I'm wrestling with it. And I felt God say, you're sowing seed into your future wife. And I wrote a $10,000 check out to Esther. She didn't know about it. And I called up a friend, and he's like, you're freaking nuts, bro. You've been dating this girl for like 4 months. Why? And I'm like, I know it's crazy. I know it doesn't make sense, but I feel like God wants me to give her $10,000. I know, I'm not recommending this, guys. But I knew she was my wife.
Wow.
And I knew it was the one thing that I needed to sow into what I saw in her. So on her birthday, after that epic day, I gave her a card, and you take it over from there. How did you react to that?
First of all, you knew you wanted to make me your wife. You didn't know I was your wife. If
Well, yeah, I
you
knew
don't believe that there's like,
I knew that.
because we say these things,
yeah.
we don't realize
Well,
we're just flippantly
wait.
saying them.
I had the intention
Yes.
of going all the way to marriage with
Exactly.
you.
Clarifying it, because there's all these like pseudo, like, statements that will say that are really extreme. When you think about it, I knew you were my husband. I didn't know that. I just knew I wanted a future with you,
Yeah,
and
same.
I prayed that God would lead that. So just had
But
to pray that.
she needed this limiting belief system broken, and I've been there in my own life, and I believe that
with finances.
with finances
Yeah.
too. Like I come from a really poor background, and she in her own way too, and you have to break free of that limiting belief and that poverty mindset at some point.
Yeah, the not a poverty mindset, but I guess maybe it is. It's more of just like what you think you're capable of.
Yeah.
It's poverty
Yeah.
mindset.
Maybe it's
Yeah, you're
It's a
right.
limiting belief
scarcity
system.
mindset.
Yeah,
is
I think
mindset, yeah.
scarcity, and just like I didn't think that I could produce that.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, Cody's really good at that, but like I just create, and like people buy it or they don't. But what he does is like turns into gold. But then we realized as we're doing it together,
It's even better.
It honestly, we sold more. When we'd be on these co-working dates, he was probably selling more.
Oh, way more.
And I created a framework to kind of streamline it.
And that's such a unique thing in our relationship. But what did that do for you in transitioning you fully into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, that moment.
Yeah, it's there and what followed.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear, like, he wasn't buying my love.
Yeah, no, it sounds such a
Money
weird
can't
thing.
buy me,
Yeah.
though.
You couldn't buy her love, bro.
No, you couldn't.
couldn't.
No, and he wrote like a beautiful letter with it too, where he was just like, "This, I don't want you to feel pressured to go into business with me. I just see a future with you, and I want to build with you." And it was really powerful, actually. It definitely brought tears to my eyes,
Wow.
and it was a beautiful moment. And I will say, like we journeyed through a lot of hard things in the season of dating, and I think you're supposed to. I think that's what dating's for. Dating's for conquer the hard things, because when you choose your hard, right? Like choose to do the hard thing first so that life will be easier later.
Yeah.
So I think that really just showed
But you
me.
came on staff
Yeah.
shortly after that.
Yeah.
It was a transition of her getting out of her job. So we stepped into business
Yeah.
shortly after that, and
Like
I
2
put her
months
on
later.
payroll, and we just began building together. But throughout that journey, when business is great and you're making a lot of money, it's a lot easier. And when business is tough and things aren't going well and you got to pivot and you have disagreements, it's hard. And we've had to walk through that. It never has been crazy, though. We've always walked through it well. But
Well, I think the first couple months were hard for me because, I mean, we're spending every day together then. Whereas before it was like we only saw each other on weekends because we lived an hour away. So, I mean, every day spending that amount of time together, and we're working. So for me, I love quality time. But even though we're spending quantities of time together, I still felt like we weren't fully, you know, having this quality invested time. So navigating that was a challenge as well.
Yeah. And we built, you know, and
Yeah.
we scaled companies together, and we made money, and we learned. And through the content agency, we actually just shut that business down last month. And at one time, you know, I was bringing in $50K every month from that business. It was really good income. And I think that we've learned more what we care about,
Yeah.
what we desire as a married couple, for our family, for our lifestyle, what we like in the marketplace, what we don't like, what we feel called to do, what our gifts are, what we enjoy doing. So it's been a cool process. I love where we're at now. We're in a
Yeah.
scary time now. We're launching some new things. We're doing some things, and God told me to shut down a profitable business, which makes no sense in the natural world, but I don't serve the world. I serve a God that loves me and guides me. But yeah, that's kind of our business journey. Feel free to ask anything you want about it.
Yeah, well, I want to touch on the mindset, right? Scarcity mindset, abundance mindset, right? Talking about your backgrounds, and you know, in many ways, it's about giving yourself permission to be successful, right?
Yeah.
Talk about like that breakthrough of just, you know, because you were working at a car dealership, and then you ventured off into your entrepreneurial, you know, endeavors, and now, you know, you're Cody Cottle, right? Right? And then Esther, right? Yourself, you know, now, you know, beginning this relationship with Cody, and now you're seeing like all this breakthrough and what's possible, right? Let's dive a little bit more into mindset and that and breakthrough.
Yeah, you want me to go first? You want me first?
You can go.
I'll go. After interviewing over 1,000 people myself, there's something that I've learned that I'll say. Every person I've ever interviewed myself that's highly successful in life always had two things. They believed in themselves, and they believed in what they were doing. So I think that mindset is it, because mindset controls the belief system that one has about their life, about themselves, and about their identity. So I think for me, if we backtrack, at 13 years old, I met a neighbor when I started my first business who became like a father to me, who was dying of cancer, who showed me I could be anything I wanted to be in the world. He mentored me. He helped me personally develop. He taught me about mindset, 13 to 16 years old. He died when I was 16. At 16, I've always had a mission to be for other people in the world what Wally was for me. His name was Wally. That had to evolve over time. I wasn't ready yet to steward that dream, but that dream kept me going. And I wanted to be a motivational speaker at 17 years old. I made videos before it was cool. Everyone laughed at me. Everyone made fun of me. I was this young motivational kid that didn't know much, but I was hungry and I had a heart to serve people. And I had to get into sales jobs, because the one thing I learned early on was I wasn't a very good communicator like you see today. I was not good at communicating. I had to sharpen a skill. So I signed up for Toastmasters. I read all the books. I watched all the YouTube channels. I emulated the best speakers in the world. I got a sales job in network marketing. I built a network marketing business, started doing some public speaking. Then I went into real estate. Then I went into timeshare. Then I went into door-to-door sales for AT&T. And then I did car sales. So from 16 years old of that dream when Wally passed away until when I went full-time in entrepreneurship at 24, I'd been in sales careers. So the car dealership was the last sales job I ever had, working for someone else. And I was working on my business every morning and every night. I was building a brand called CSC Inspires. I was trying to emulate Eric Thomas. ET Inspires was his brand back in the day. And I was posting motivational videos. I had a Facebook group. I had a Facebook page. But I didn't know how to make money doing that. There was such a mindset shift that needed to happen. I still had a limiting belief system about building business and making money and knowing my worth. I believed in myself, but I didn't yet believe in what I was doing. I hadn't yet found the right vehicle I could go all in with. And I had some videos that started to go mini viral. And that's when I had the opportunity to go speak at an event and be a keynote speaker. So because of my consistency online, my passion and my dream, someone invited me to coffee, paid me to go give a keynote talk to an event. It immediately raised my belief system in myself and my value and what I can do. And from there, I continued to pursue that and chase that to the point where I quit my job early. So I didn't wait until I was rich, making money in a speaking career, coaching, or any of those things, or developing a business. I had $6,000 saved up from my car selling job. And I just was like, I would rather go try and fail and at least know I tried than spend another month in this car dealership. Because I do not want to be a car salesman for the rest of my life. It was a very short stint in my life, and I love the dealership, love the coworkers, love the great Christian owners. Like, it was the country club of car dealerships. It wasn't like sleazy car salesmen, but still it wasn't for me. And I developed the belief and the tenacity to go for it, man. And I think from there, I remember like getting paid to speak. And I remember when I launched a personal development program for $1,800 a year, and I had such a limiting belief, man. And I just put it out there. I just went for it. And I had $23,000 in sales my first week. And that changed my belief system. It reinforced the dream I had. And I struggled and I didn't make money for a long time, but once you make $23,000 in a week in your own business selling education and personal development, you're like, well, I can do that again. If I did it once, I can do it twice. I can do it 100 times. I can 10x this thing.
Yeah.
And that began to build a compound effect. And you fast forward to where I'm at today, and I can confidently tell anyone listening to the show, making money is very easy. Do not let the world fool you. Do not let your limiting beliefs fool you. Do not let other people fool you. Making money is not hard. Figuring out how to make money is the more difficult part. But once you know what that is, it's just following the framework to do it. Success leaves clues. So for me, you can ask Esther, even we're going through tough times. I'm like, money comes freely and easily to me from all directions. God has given me the ability. I am gifted. I am talented. I am anointed. I can do anything I set my mind to. I know how to make money. I know how to produce. And I have confidence. I've done it so many times now. I know I could pick that phone up, go through my phone book, call 100 people today, and I could probably make $50,000 if I really wanted to. But I'm at that level now. I'm at that reinforced place of having done it so many times. So I'll stop there. That for me is how I've developed the mindset of being able to produce in business as far as production goes.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, for myself, I've always had an entrepreneur mindset. I've always been I have like this inventive mind. I want to invent stuff all the time. I'm never short of ideas. I'm never short of a new business idea, a new campaign, a new anything. And so that's a gift and a curse at the same time. And so I think for me, it wasn't that I didn't think that I could make money, is I just didn't know how, like you said. Because I always had that mindset as well that one day I'm going to make millions. One day, I had it written down, posted next to my bed at 17 years old, and I'm consuming all of this material and, reading leadership books and money books and all that. But it just didn't click for me for how to use my gifts to connect to the source of abundance. I'm like, I'm making this up, but it's not going anywhere. So I think my journey really was more about, okay, how do I just get my freedom? And so I followed that path for a while, which for me was nannying. I was self-employed nannying since I was about 23. And that, or actually 25, and that was my path to pursuing my passion. So I'm nannying, I'm building this, that's how I'm making my own money, but then I wasn't passionate about it. I really don't want to be doing this for 1 million years. So I think, to fast forward a long story, is I finally navigated through my passion. Sometimes you just have to try it to fail, to realize, oh, that's not it. Okay, we're going to keep moving. So I had a surf brand at a time. Then I turned that into a women's outreach resource ministry. But I was still writing. That was my main passion. Writing was always my main passion, always putting out books. But again, not knowing how to turn it into a business. And I didn't come from this self-development world like Cody did. I came from more of a faith background, ministry, nonprofit, missions. And so that was always my heart, to serve people, but not knowing how to connect the resources to that. Yeah. So So yeah, when I finally met Cody, I was in a really healthy place of really diving in and trying to figure it out, taking courses, working on myself and my mindset. But he really accelerated that process and really brought me into more of the coaching space to realize, wow, I can take my passion and make it profitable. Yeah. And I'm not ripping people off because like I'm actually serving them and making their lives better and providing a solution to their problem. And that was really empowering and really beautiful. And I just think authenticity comes back to that, of just like serving out of a place of truly who God designed you to be, and connecting to your purpose. And that really has been the game changer for us.
Check this out. She has this anointing on her life for helping singles. And we did a couple launches. Esther created a course, created a master class. Those are a lot of frameworks I've used in the business world. If you guys want to make a lot of money, for how to solve people's problems, how to get them to hop on a master class, a workshop, a webinar with you, give them a ton of value, and make a call to action to buy something from you and invite them into the next step in the journey with you. And I remember we helped Esther make like 10 grand in her business doing this model. And I remember seeing like just her belief system shift, because one thing to sow 10 grand in her was another thing to show her how to create her own 10 grand. So I think that's part of the journey, right? First you need to see abundance and know it's possible. Then you need to know you can create abundance. Once you've created abundance, you can continue to do that. And so that was really cool to watch her do. And I have a plug right now. There's something I want to say. We're not announcing it. I just got to say this.
Of course.
We are on a mission that has not yet been announced, something new we're developing right now. But just the context of this conversation, my heart is we really want to bridge the gap of personal development to the faith-based community. I really want people to know what I know. I really want every Christian in the world to know how to develop these areas of their life, because I think we deserve to have thriving marriages. I think we deserve to have thriving business. And I think we deserve to have access to that information without having to go spend 10 grand to get it. So just stay tuned. I'm just going to leave it there, leave the curiosity simmering. But if you guys connect with Esther and I, you will begin to see something where everything we're talking about today will be available to you absolutely free.
I can't wait. I can't wait for that. And I know my listeners can't wait either. I really appreciate you guys going into mindset. I think that's something really important that people need to, it starts with the mind, right? I remember this poster in kindergarten, right? I'll watch my thoughts because my thoughts become my words. I'll watch my words because my words become my actions. My actions become my life, right? So it all starts with belief and mindset. I want to turn to Esther again, being an author, right? We all read books, right? We all take in that information, but so few of us have actually written a book. Right? Talk about the process of writing a book, right? What's that like, organizing it, and you've written 5 books?
Yep.
5 books,
5
yes,
books.
I got it right.
Yeah, I'm the worst person to ask this question to because I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed. I could write with my eyes closed probably. Like I'm good at typing, but it just pours out of me.
Wow.
It pours out of me, and so it's a blessing for him because I help with all of the copywriting for our company.
Thank you, Jesus.
And creating for us, but words carry weight. Words actually have meanings. I know we like to change the meanings of words right now in our society, but they're powerful. And you can't sell your things without words. You can't sell your vision without words. You can't sell, your products and your business. So it's just, I'm so fascinated by the concept of writing and how to do it well and how to do it in a way that just like captures someone's heart. When someone tells me, you said exactly everything that I've been thinking and feeling. You put it into words. It's like the greatest compliment ever. In terms of writing a book, though, I've done it multiple ways. I've done it in ways of just inspiration in the moment where I get this idea and I just write it out. My first book was a children's book when I was 21. And I just got this poem. It just came to me. I wrote it for my niece. And I looked at it and I said, that's brilliant. And I'm going to turn that into a book. And I didn't even know how to. But I always loved writing. And so I just researched it. How do I self-publish? And so the process is really so simple. Anyone can write a book. Obviously, not everyone's a good writer, so not everyone can sell their books. But that's a different, that's like the marketing and having an editor and all of that. So there's so many components to it. But I just think it all starts with what's the message that's in your heart and what do you feel so convicted to say to the world?
Wow.
That's the only reason why I write. I'm not going to write just a fun story. I'm never going to be that girl. I'm always going to write out of a place of, I see this problem that I'm willing to literally die for, because I believe that God's given me a revelation to serve and to bring transformation into people's lives. So that's why I write, and that's why I'm obsessed with it, because like I go to God for this revelation, because I can't stand people suffering in those areas. Now, I didn't talk about the tactical process. Obviously, like there's so many things that I could go into with that, but really it just takes scheduling out the time, giving yourself 4 hours. And I love a good spot with a view. Like if I can get a spot with a view of the ocean or the mountains, I will go on writing retreats. I will, when he's out of town, I will write nonstop. It's like my only non-interrupted time. And but you can't wait for inspiration to write. Like once you get the idea, you start the Word document. I mean, the first thing I do is I create a cover design. I put my name on it. I put New York Times bestseller on it, because I'm just casting the vision for myself.
I love that.
And that goes back to the mindset of it. And then you just do it. You just commit to getting it done. You give yourself a deadline.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, we all read books, but the process that goes into it and the inspiration behind it, you know.
These aren't ChatGPT
yeah,
books.
no, they're not. Yeah.
These are.
Yeah.
What are you writing right now?
Yeah, I'm working on my next book. Is called If He Wanted to, He Would. It's my top subscribed devotional on the
Okay.
YouVersion Bible app. It has almost 130,000 subscribers on it. And it's basically kind of the conversation we were talking about before. Like, how do women really walk out who God designed them to be in their dating season and do it honorably, and empower men, not tear them down, but also not fall for these situationships that are just causing them to live this toxic pattern in their dating lives. So it's going to be good.
Wow. I can't wait.
Come on.
Yeah. That's going to be good. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah.
She's got, I'm going to brag on my wife, the Bible app, the YouVersion Bible app, #1 Bible app in the world right now, is kind of building out to their own like social media. It's really cool what they've been developing. How long have you been writing on the Bible app?
About 2 years or 2.5 years.
2.5 years, over 300,000 subscribers she just hit the other day.
Wow.
To everything she writes on there. So it's been really cool to watch her build a biblical platform with devotionals, and then turn those, into books and things like that. So I really encourage, because she's humble, but go check out her Bible app account and everything she's wrote. How do they find it?
Just search Esther Marie on YouVersion.
Yeah,
Yeah, all my
it's really
plans will come up
powerful
there.
stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll make sure we get that link out. Well, I know we're almost at time, but want to give you guys the opportunity for final thoughts, final remarks, anything you want to give the audience while we're closing out.
I love the way you do your hands like this when you're like a reporter. It's like so powerful. Did you learn that in politics?
No, well, I watched a video on it, like power poses, right?
Yeah.
And not that I'm like trying to do a power play,
Yeah.
but it is like it gives you that
Yeah.
In control, right?
Yeah.
So
I like it. I'm gonna start doing
not
it.
not that I'm trying to be controlling, but just like I'm trying to
Yeah.
interpret your words and
Yeah.
come up with questions, right, that are gonna flow and
Yeah, and
so-
carry it there.
That's it.
Being a hosting is so much harder than being
Yeah.
a guest. I host a podcast, so asking the right questions, leading the conversation. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I was years ago asked by a guy. Guy came in and spoke. It was actually at the car dealership. I was trying to build my business, and he was like a motivational speaker. Like Grant Cardone had spoken at that car dealership before too. So we had some big names come through, and I really admired the guy and what he built. And I found out that him and his company had like a $30,000 contract to come in there and speak. And I was like, man, that's like what I'm supposed to be doing. And I was like, can I buy you lunch? And he said, well, I got to leave town, but here's my email. And I emailed him, and eventually we did grab lunch when he came back in town. And I was like, dude, how do I get where you're at? Like I'm here and you're there, and like I can't figure out how to get there. And he was like, I want to ask you a question, and I don't want you to answer it right now, but you can email me in a couple weeks when you've thought about it. And he said, Cody, what truly breaks your heart in the world? Like when you look at the world, I don't want you just to give me some surface level answer, but what breaks your heart in the world? And when email me. So for weeks I thought about this, and I came up with all kinds of different things, and I was writing down notes, and I just settled on the simplest yet most profound thing to me in the world. What breaks my heart in the world is I meet so many people, and I've always had this ability to see their uniqueness, that like there will never be another you in the world, bro. Like ever. Like no man before you or after you will ever walk this earth like you. You have an individuality, a uniqueness, gifts, talents, ideas, dreams, passions. They were given to you and entrusted to you for a reason. And what breaks my heart in the world is when I see human beings, my brothers and my sisters, that's how I look at you. That's how I look at him. That's how I look at her. That's how I see the world. That is my lens. And I see so many people that don't see themselves in that same way. And they never live up to the potential of who they could have become for a multitude of reasons, a broken belief system, a hurt identity, a conformity. Death has been spoken over their life, negativity spoken over their life, and they settle for a mediocre and average life. And it's like they never became who they could have been. And I think about what the world would look like if more of us actually followed the trajectory and the journey of becoming the best version of ourselves. So I responded to him, and I simplified that and told him that. And he just replied, then go do something about it.
Yeah.
And that's my mission. That's my mission, man. I just want to do something about it. I don't know what that looks like. I've learned how to make money and build businesses, but God's shifting us right now. We're doing some things that are just to better humanity, better society. But I know that when I die, and hopefully I hear, well done, my good and faithful servant, that I multiplied what God put in my hands. And for me, that's Cody Cottle. For me, that's the man I am. That's the gifts I am. That's the talents I have. That's the dreams I have. It's the ideas I have. It's the creativity. It's the voice, the gift of communication. My job and my responsibility is to multiply who God created me to be and to give it away to the world and bless as many people as I can. And I hope through that I elevate the belief system of others by the way that I live my life to want to do that with their life. So I leave your audience with, what breaks your heart in the world? When you leave this podcast, go home, look in the mirror, look into your retinas, look at the man or the woman looking back at you. And I want you, for the first time ever maybe, to just love yourself for a moment and just see that there will never be another you in the world. No matter where you're at right now, it doesn't matter. No matter what you've done, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is for the first time in your life, you see yourself the way that God sees you. Perfect in his image, in his likeness, entrusted with an identity, a uniqueness, gifts, talents, ideas, dreams, and passions. So my challenge for you is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do with it? Are you going to be another person that just exists and dies? He was a nice guy. She was a pretty cool girl. Sorry to see him go. Or man, that guy went all in. That guy, he gave the world everything that he had. Man, she made an impact. She made a difference. Man, she was so good at this. And she walked it out. She developed it. She gave it away to the world. That's what I got.
Thank you, Cody. That was powerful. Esther?
Yeah, actually, I would love to share something with you that also,
Of course,
everyone watching and listening can partake in. But, I know what it feels like to be on the other side, to be in singleness, and to be looking into a relationship or looking at couples or marriages and being like, man, yeah, like, I can't wait till I'm there. I wrote my book, Single Shouldn't Suck, when I started it when I was 23. And I wrote it over a period of 9 to 10 years where I was just journaling, and I was just living my life and figuring it out and discovering so much about myself, my calling, and who God had called me to be, and living the adventure and leaning into it. And we talked about this before the podcast started, about just like leaning into the life in front of you right now and really focusing on that as opposed to chasing this person out there. Where is she? Where is she, God? And just a reminder to you, though, that in that process, as you're leaning into this season and as you're pursuing those dreams and you're pursuing those passions and you're asking yourself, am I going all in this season? Am I the man that I want to be for my future wife, or am I becoming him? And And have I also pursued all of the things in my heart in the season now that I want to do before that happens? And then in that process of asking yourself that question, if the answer is like, yeah, I have, like, I'm ready for that next step, write down your dream life, what you want a day in your life, one day in your life, from the minute you get up to the minute you go to bed, what you want that day to look like. Write that down. Because I am telling you, I am living that day that I wrote down. I wrote down 3 years ago a day in my life that I wanted to live with my husband one day, what I wanted it to look like from the minute I got up and he made me coffee to the minute I went to bed.
That really worked.
And I'm living everything on that list. And that's not because I manifested it. It's because I went after it.
Come on.
And so, you know, and another thing is, don't settle for obligatory belief systems. And what do I mean by that? There's a lot of even Christian sayings and slogans out there that sound really cute, but they're not biblical, and they're not, the power of God is not behind them. But we settle.
So what are they?
We settle in passivity because of whoever's saying them, and because they sound cute. Kind of like, even like the "if you know, you know" thing. It's kind of like, oh, when God leads you in God's timing. Yes, I believe that everything is in God's timing, but He's given us authority and dominion on this earth, and He's given us the free will to dream with Him and to take steps. It says the steps of the righteous one are ordered by the Lord, but who does the stepping? You do. He's not moving your feet. And so just know that in this season, as you're dreaming with God into your future marriage and relationship, is that it's not a passive season. It's absolutely active and in pursuit of His plans and purposes, with your passions and your priorities and your principles and everything that's in your heart at play. And so know that you have the authority to step into that and to co-labor with God as you're pursuing that wife, as you're pursuing that future life. And just know that it's an adventure. It doesn't need to be rushed through, and that where you are now has significance. But it's not a matter of if, it's when you're on this side of the table with your wife next to you and you're being interviewed. And I say that to everyone watching, because so many people have like, well, if it's God's will, well, why don't you ask Him? Because the will of God is known through the transformation of the mind. Romans 12 tells us that. And so, so it's not as complicated as we make it out to be, honestly. But just get excited for your future, and get excited for even where you are right now.
Come on.
Thank you, Esther. That was powerful. Wow. Really glad we got to do this, and, for you to come on here and speak to all these powerful things and let God, move in this room, right? For people that need to hear it, that is so powerful. And thank you both for coming on the show. Really quick, do you guys want to plug anything else?
That'll be $9.97 for our free coaching course for you today.
I just want to honor you, man, and just say thank you for bringing us on the show. I know what it's like to talk about starting a podcast, and I know what it's like to follow through and do it. And I know there's a lot of talkers in the world and very few men or women of action that follow through and make the dream a reality. So I just want to honor you for following through with your dream, following through with your passion, creating the show. Thank you for bringing us on. It's not something we take lightly to step on your platform that you were building with your influence. And I'm expectant for God to continue to elevate you, bro, in your life and everything that you do, and give you more influence in the world. And I'm excited, dude. I'm excited to see what God does in your life.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you, Cody. Appreciate you both. God bless you.
Yeah. Thank you. The plugs, it's just, we're doing a lot of cool things, guys. I'd say the best place to connect with Esther and I right now is our social media. We're going to have a lot of announcements, a lot of things we're creating for the world, a lot of things we're just going to give away to people, man, just to bless them. And Esther, what's your Instagram?
Esther Marie Cottle.
So she's Esther Marie Cottle, and I am Cody Cottle. Connect with us on Instagram, and we like to make ourselves as available to people as we can. Our lives are busy, we do a lot, but God has put on my heart recently just having a heart to be there for people as much as I can. So if someone DMs me that listens to this podcast, I will respond to you personally. I'll take the time. I don't know how long our conversation will go, but if something spoke to you, something stood out to someone on the show, we'd love to be there. We have so many resources, such an incredible community, so many things around what we talked about today. And our heart is not selfishness. There was time in my life it might have been, to be honest. Our heart now is unselfishness and giving it away to the world. So I just want as many people, just like that thing I shared earlier about becoming the best version of you. I want people to do that. And if someone's listening to this, man, and they're just like, man, like I want to be on fire like these guys are on Morgan's podcast. I want to be like in my pursuit of that, and I don't know where to start. DM us, because we can point you in the right direction. We can plug you into some resources. We can even send you just a voice message to encourage and to motivate you to get started. But if you don't do that and you don't take action, guys, you're never going to get in proximity to that which you desire. So anything you'd like to add? Cool. We love you guys. God loves you.
Amen. Thank you, Cody. Thank you, Esther.